maybe we could get started like this. How about those Chiefs? All right, yeah. I am your February guest host. My name is Joe Blackshere, and this right here is a picture we took a few weeks ago. There's a meeting at the ACA Overland Park called Home Resource Network. Ron Ireland, Bob Coleman, Brendan Fishney, they're the host. And so at that meeting at 11:30, there's amazing topics every week. I invite you all out to that meeting. And this right here is a lunch that we do right after the meeting at the Brookside VRBO. It's just a continuation. That's Taco Tuesday. I want to thank you for joining us. This is a great organization. This is, our 253rd-ish meeting tonight. So I feel great about being a part of something that is long-rooted in the Kansas City area. Okay, that's your only warning. Just kidding. Okay, so why am I a part of MAREI? MAREI, potato, tomato, let's call the whole thing off. Anybody? It's a song by Harry Connick. I'm here for your comedic entertainment tonight as well. So, so why am I part of MAREI? First of all, thanks for capturing me in the best pictures and outfits possible. These are great pictures. So, I want to say, why am I part of this organization? I think because it's a fine organization, right? Yeah. Everybody in this room can definitely benefit, and I'm going to share with you how it's made a difference in my life. And then I received a phone call. Don't let me forget. It wasn't part of the script. I don't have a slide. I received a phone call here tonight that I want to share with you. Okay. So when I say it's a fine organization, and I want to let you know, I made this slide before I saw the slides that Kim sent me. And it's amazing how closely related. They're actually the same. All right. It's just, what do you call it? Synergies? So, in sync? Thank you. So anyway, so when I say it's a fine organization, what do we mean by that? Okay, now, if you're like me, you go to a lot of these network events. My wife has made it clear that these events don't count as a date night. Even though there's good food, right? So it's a fine event. And I was a little full from Taco Tuesday, so I didn't even get one of those sandwiches, but I did grab a little bit of fruit. So that's the F in fine, if you see where we're going. Intelligence. You may not believe it, but I'm up here and I've really gained a lot of intelligence from this group. I do tend to be a clown. I should probably find a happy medium, but definitely intelligence. Now, I've gone to some of these workshops, these all-day workshops. Took my wife, who, I should tell you, my wife, we started out as partners. If you look at our operating agreement, it's an LLC. Bob's my accountant. He'll confirm this, help set it up. It is a 50-50 partnership, I think is what it is. But when I retired from my job, she's a teacher full-time, she still does it. When I retired, it kind of swung to 95-5. So she lets me know, like when I take her to these events, she's there for me, and that I love her. And she's a great partner, but she does let me know that the workload is 95-5. So sometimes it feels like 98-2. So there's that. Anybody guess what it is? It's the network. So I'm going to share with you a couple stories. As an agent, a real estate agent, I've met people here that have become my friends, that were clients and became my friends. John is here tonight, and John, I'm going to be honest. We had a conversation, and probably a year passed. I don't know. He hung on to my business card, called me out of the blue, and I was just like racking my mind trying to picture. I never told you this, but and we've become friends. We went out for lunch and we talked his goals, his dreams. He has a rental portfolio where he bought 10 in a package, and we sold off a couple so that he could basically the goal is to have it completely owned and maybe just a few less. And he's remodeling some. And he's just doing some great things. And I've helped him with 3 properties. Yeah, we did 2 on the MLS. We did 1 that we did seller financing on. And then we did 1 that was that I introduced you to some wholesale friends. And so we've gotten super creative with some of his needs. And that was all because we had a conversation here. I just want to share that. So that's from an agent perspective. And then from an investor perspective and a resource perspective. So as far as the investor relationship clients, talking about networking and investors. So there's a couple folks here that I met through this organization, and unfortunately they stepped out, or I don't see her, but Serena Bales and Dan Reedy. I pride myself in being a pretty versed investor client, investor agent, but I know I can call them and get a second opinion or get ideas or get some local market knowledge on pocket neighborhoods, and they'll pick up the phone. So that's been a great thing. And then, let's see, we could probably combine this. So engage. So I'll share a quick story about Marquienda and DeMayo cabinets. When I say engage, I mean come early, work the tables. And with Mark, he became my vendor for cabinets on a really large corporate project. So I do need to move faster because there's a lot of slides that aren't mine. So, why MAREI? So this is actually what I just talked about. I didn't even know it, but all of the people, the meetings, the workshops, events, why MAREI, great vendors we touched on. And then the great training. Every month we have an amazing speaker, national speakers. We've got a great treat tonight, and I'll share with you here in a moment. Now, events coming up. Mark your calendars. Make sure you take one of these flyers here, because we've got some great things coming up. We've got, let's see here. We've got Al, who's going to be talking to us tonight. He's going to be doing just about a full day workshop, so check out those details. Later in the month, we've got the Rehabbing Houses Survival Toolbox. And then our next MAREI meeting, the Tuesday night meeting next month, we've got 2 Beauties and that Beast right there. So make sure you attend there. And we're going to be talking full-time real estate, living the dream. I guess that's what we're going to be talking about. And it'll be a panel. Now, really quick, a couple disclaimers. We don't endorse. Do your due diligence always and seek the advice of experts. So this actually happened to me. We realized that city governments, local ordinances, HOAs, they can affect your business without notice, where you have to pivot. So it's good to have exit strategies. It's good to have multiple creative strategies. And this happened to me in Kansas City. I got one of my short-term rentals shut down. It's right in smack dab in the middle of a residence. I got they called it a courtesy letter. There's nothing courtesy about that, where they say you can no longer use your house how you want. Just keep paying the inflated property taxes. But we're calling it a courtesy letter. And so I didn't have a single short-term rental guest booking in January. Then thankfully I got a 3-month booking, and it's doing well right now. But I was ready to turn it over to a long-term rental. So I'm really encouraged to attend the workshop and listen to our speaker tonight. So with that being said, let me introduce Al Williamson. It took 2 engineering degrees, repairing the San Francisco Bay Bridge, and 22 years of landlord experience for Al Williamson to become the world's first landlord scientist. And now he uses his engineering skills to help investors like you make more money, something we all want. Al is best known for publicly optimizing his 8-unit apartment in Sacramento to the point where it replaced his salary and gave him financial freedom. Known as the father of extended stay Airbnb industry, Al has taught thousands of people how to optimize their net incomes by focusing on longer than 30-day stays. He now spends his days running easy corporate housing in Sacramento, California, where he lives with his wife and 2 daughters. Please help me welcome the world's first landlord scientist, Al Williamson.
How you guys doing? Very good. waiting a long time to get to see you guys. Where are my Airbnb hosts? We got any Airbnb hosts? All right. Welcome. I know you guys want to know about marketing. So we'll be talking about that and a lot on that Saturday when I come back. Where are my landlords, my people, my tribe? All right. For you guys, I'm going to make sure I hit how you can triple your net and more. Okay? I want to make sure you get your money's worth for tonight. And then there are my people who have no rental experience, don't own anything. Where are you guys? Okay, good. I'm going to help you guys get started. I'm going to show you some approaches that you can do with very little money to get in. So there's some new things you can do. And then there's some people here that want to leave their jobs. They have a 9-to-5 job that's sucking the life out of them. And they're spending all day there, and they can't wait to leave. Where are you guys at? Okay, good, good. So get paper and pencil. Get paper and pencil out. Start with dear boss. Come on. I quit. And we can date it and everything. Hey, thank you, Joe. Man, this is. I thought that was for me. Want a third? I thought I was looking for that frozen drink you were talking about. Oh, you guys are good to me. You guys are good. Let's give this up. I went to Q39. They were good with the water too. So, all right. So we can do all these things because of this. You know, there's $32 billion spent on business travel each year. And there's more. That's a little dated. 32, what do you guys want a little bit of that? 32 billion? Yes. Yeah, and then there's over 55 million essential workers traveling about. They're all about funded. There's a recent infrastructure funding, and then only 30% of those guys are healthcare professionals, right? So let's talk about the other 70%. I know you guys know about travel nurses, yes? Yeah, let's talk about that other percent. That's what we're going to do. All this is going to allow you to get into all those incredible things I said, triple your net, leave your job. But before I dive into that, I got to show you this. This is my 8-unit apartment complex in Sacramento, California. It took me 5 years to come up with that down payment. You know, 5 years. I was skipping lunches. We didn't go on vacations, and it was tense at our household. But the good news is that it kicks off over $8,000 now. Now that we converted it over to some midterm rentals, so we're doing well now. So I was barely able to cover my expenses, and then I jumped. I said I'm out with that. With just those 8 units at one property there. And then I started talking to other landlords that were in strategic locations, and I said, hey, I want to expand my corporate housing company. And especially if they're right next to a hospital, this one's across from a park. And I told them, hey, I want to use your unit. And they say, oh, okay. So it's up and going, no down payment. And this kicks off over $800 per month. And the same thing, this is a mom and pop, this is a 2-bed, 2-bath place. I told them, hey, I want to expand my corporate housing. Right? I want to expand my corporate housing what? My corporate housing company, and no down payment. I told them what I do, and up and going. This kicks off a little bit over $800 a month as well. It's always, this is booked a year at a time because it's just because of the way it's set up. It's just in a regular neighborhood. And then this place is managed by a apartment management company, and we have 2 of these units. Same. Guess what I said to them? I want to expand my corporate housing company. I told them what I did and who I served. And they're like, okay, let's do that. So same thing. It's about those numbers, about $800, $700 a month, $500 is a minimum. And my mentor told me if I am up here, I have to be transparent. And someone once told me, I didn't like the quote. It was like, if you want to be free, make sure you don't have anything to hide. So here it is. You guys probably want to know what I'm doing. I own some and I operate some. As I own, it's over $10,000 a month of net income. What kind of income? Net income. And then the things we operate, other people own them. It's a little bit over $7,000. Okay. So we own some and what? We operate some. Yeah. Own some and operate. And so does the MAREI. That's what they do. They hardly own anything, 5 in the United States. All those Marriotts you're driving past, they don't own a single one of them.
They're all franchised.
They're all franchised or the partnership agreements. They pass on the maintenance expenses to the owner. Because that's what kills you, right, landlords? The maintenance kills you. So if you can pass it on to someone else and just get the nice fee, it's great. Okay? So I went through their annual report to get that. Save you guys a headache. So people started asking me, hey, Al, this looks great. Can you help me? This is my friend Derek. He's a science teacher. He had me talk to his class last month. And he's like, can you help me? I want to pay off some debts. He's got 2 girls in college. And he's a teacher. Where are my teachers at? Yeah, you guys need to know what that means. So we started him on this. He started making a little bit over $500 a month and started to pay down his debts. At this apartment complex, he now has 5 of them. Okay, he partners with me too. He partners with my daughter's retirement account for my self-directed IRA folks. You don't have no debt in here, so you can have it in your IRA. So my 12-year-old daughter is his partner, her IRA. She doesn't know about it. And so we're doing fine. So it's a very powerful thing. You guys interested in this? These numbers sound about right? I'm not inflating them. Where are my engineers? My engineers here? You guys can call me BS on me. I'm not inflating anything. Because we're used to being challenged, right? Is how do you know? Can you prove that? And yeah, I can prove it. So let's do some things. Have you guys seen this company before? Yeah. Yeah? They finally made a profit last year. Yeah, that's great. I mean, they're doing great. They're the largest travel agency in the world, really. And we're not going to talk that much about them tonight. We're going to be talking about my full marketing funnel. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
We're not going to be talking about all the little superhost things. We're going to be talking about a full funnel, just like a decentralized hotel, just like a real business. Okay? Because if you're just an Airbnb host, which is a great thing, but you're just their employee, unfortunately. You have to be more than that to survive these days. So, how do I market? Right. How do you market, Al? That's the most common question. Joe probably wants to know too. He's got short-term rentals. Well, it's through Google gets most of the internet traffic, yes? Yeah, about 95% of the internet traffic. So you have to have a Google presence, right? Are you old enough to remember the Yellow Book? Yellow Pages?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Could you be in business if you weren't in the Yellow Pages?
No.
Yeah, Google is the Yellow Pages. Okay, you have to have a presence on Google. And then they go to your website and then they contact me. You have to work on do the work to get onto the first page. Okay? And it's not hard because no one else is trying in Kansas City. They're trying to get on the first page. And then we give them, after we have a conversation, we say, oh, you looking for pets? Yep. You want a washer and dryer? Yep. You need a ground floor? We figure out which unit we have. And then we send them a simple one-page website. Okay? We have a website, a complete web page, nothing else, just a web page for every one of our units. Okay? Because if I contacted you by phone and you sent me your Airbnb link, right? I would go shopping all through Airbnb, right? So you have to have a one-page website for all of your units. This is the magic sauce. Magic sauce. And then after that, this one-page website answers all their questions. How to use the fan, how to use the dryer, where to park. Give me a video walkthrough of everything. That's exactly what it has. And then when people go through that, they feel like they're in good hands, and then they're ready to send us the money. Okay? Now the next question I get is, Al, why all that? Airbnb is just amazing, has a great experience, and why not just that? Why not just rely on Airbnb? And it's because you just can't sell your Airbnb business. Terms of Service 15 says if you transfer it, they need to do a background check on the new person. Okay? Otherwise, they kind of consider it fraud. You can't transfer it. inside your LLCs and all that stuff you heard, they don't like that. They'll shut you down if they hear about that. Okay? You can't sell it. This way, when you have your own web traffic, even a website that's on the first page is worth something you can sell. Okay? So if you have to exit Airbnb hosts, if you have to exit, if you get caught, if you get stuck, if something goes wrong, you still have a permanent asset whether you own the property or not. You guys receive that? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
And things sell for 3 times their annual revenue? Yeah? Here in Kansas City? You guys are all blinking at me. Businesses sell for 3 times their annual revenue, yes? Okay, so you're going to have something whether you own the property or not. That's why the Marriott brand is worth something. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at Kansas City. I pulled up the website and said, well, what is a short-term rental? And they call it, if you rent something less than 30 consecutive days or nights, days. Yeah? Less than 30 consecutive days. So what happens if you rent it 30 days? If you rent something for 30 days, if you get a 30-day booking, what happens? What do you call that? Yeah, midterm. And all those laws and all those restrictions don't apply. Having to talk to your neighbor and all the other things, I think you guys can only have one or something like that. All that craziness, telling you what to do with your property, all that doesn't apply. Okay? You still, if you have an HOA, you're still in problem. You still have problems. But if you, not with the city laws, not with the taxes and all those things. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Stays 31 days and longer. How many days? 31. Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about in that range. Okay? Where you're going to have to deal with long-term landlord laws now. Okay? So now we have to optimize inside of that range of long-term landlord. Let's talk about that. Now this is for people who are willing to put in the work. Okay? It's not just an easy thing. If you're willing to put in the work and follow a plan, this next few minutes is going to be for you. And if you don't want another job, if you don't want a second job, that was my problem. This, what I'm sharing with you is going to be for you. And who remembers our hobbies? Want to get back to those? Yeah, I want you to get back to them too. So this is what this is about. It's a lot slower pace, a way of doing month-to-month rentals, right? It's just simple month-to-month rentals that's furnished, and we're going to be doing it in the hospitality industry instead of the rental market. Let me say it again. We're going to do it in a what industry? Hospitality. Yeah, which is more profitable. Real quick, who's played Monopoly? What's the goal? So you buy for what? And then you collect you collect what from them? Right. And then what do you try to do? What do you try to do with that property? When you have 4 houses, you try to what?
Upgrade. Bigger.
You buy a what? Hotel. What's the hotel in? Hotels in the hospitality industry, yes? All your life, if you play Monopoly, you've been told to get out of the rental market and into the hospitality market. Okay? Since the 40s. I'm just trying to make it simple for you. I'm not making anything up. This has always been the case. Get into the hospitality industry. All right, so I'm Al Williamson. I'm back on the road after COVID. So much has changed since COVID. And I've been training people for a long time. I dropped a couple of units. They used to be 29 and 27 now. If it's a rental arbitrage, it means that if I don't own it, and if it's not doing what I want it to do, I just let it go. I just give it back to the owner. Right, and I move the furniture into a different configuration. And this time, we're letting some of our one baths go and moving them into 2-bed 1-baths, which is more in demand now. There's a couple of things changing with the travel nurse industry slowing down. As they hire more permanent nurses, there's always change happening, right? Someone's always moving the cheese somehow. You got to stay abreast of that. So I've been training people since 2000. I was looking at that. This has been 10 years. It has been 10 years. I'm the original person talking about this back in Mr. Landlord conference way back in 2014. It's been talking about it, and it seems like it's a craze all of a sudden now, which is good. But it hasn't always been so easy for me. I was a civil engineer. I'm trying to lose the engineering accent a little bit. But my last project as an employee was overseeing a little bit of the repair of the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge. We were dealing with this part under the water. It was a very stressful job. And on San Francisco and Alcatraz Island, the historical, it's a national park now. This is where the breakout happened, right? Al Capone used to live there. I was entrusted with a project of overseeing placement of these solar panels on that roof, the very historical roof, to make the whole thing energy efficient. And then, this Yosemite, this was a fun project. There was these caves that tourists always go in, these caves, and they get stuck. And they have to get a helicopter and all kinds of stuff to get in there. So we put cages up to keep people out and the bats could come and go. So these were some beautiful projects, great views, but the majority of the time was this. This was really what it is, PowerPointed to death. And then every year, my boss, hey, Al, I got a question for you. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I had to sit down through that, and what I needed the job, I needed the healthcare, I had kids. I'm an entrepreneur, I don't belong there. I was just doing it for the money, and I had to tell a lie, a straight lie, and I knew I was telling a lie. I want your job, I want your job. Right? You guys have been there. All right, yeah. So I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had the golden handcuffs on, and it was just a wish. I didn't have a plan. I didn't think it could work. It would work for me. With all my negative images of myself, I couldn't do it, and that was taking its toll on my family. My then 13-year-old forgot Father's Day. Yeah, she forgot Father's Day. She went to dinner with us. She said Happy Father's Day, but no card, no nothing, because she was pretty mad with me. She was struggling with her classes with algebra. And I used to teach algebra. I was just gone all the time. I was just working all the time. I had this fancy resume, and she didn't give a care about the resume and the jobs. And this happened 2 years in a row. No Father's Day card. So that was kind of, I got an F in that category. And then contractors are very honest. Brutally honest. So it was high stress. And I had a long commute. So I would stop through some drive-thrus, and a few times to comfort my nerves. And I got a little heavy, a little fat, and my full name is Albert. So at work, I'm in charge of the project here. Being called Fat Albert in the meetings and things, and I couldn't wear Kansas Chief red because I would look too much like him. I can't do it.
We'll get you one to go.
Oh, okay. You can give me strangle. But I was a landlord since '96. I was a really good landlord. I was doing all the work, but the maintenance was just eating me up. I would fix things for the last 15 years. I would torque wrench it, I would research it, do the work myself, but the maintenance kept going and going. I built up a little bit of money. Am I telling the truth, landlords? I built up a little money and it gets wiped out with a paint job. It gets wiped out with a roof leak. Or oh God, don't let the water heater have a drip underneath it and I have to replace that and get a permit, and it just eats you up. So, most landlords I talk to figure that maybe net income before taxes is about $100 of net income per month per door. Maybe a little bit more. How do you guys feel? Is that reasonable? Yeah, unfortunately, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about that part of it, but that's what it is, and I think we can do better. That's like $3 and something a day, and all those down payment, all that risk that we took to come up with $3 a day for All right, I'll ease up on that one. I know it's a tour, but I figured, hey, let's talk about how to make one rental cash flow like 3. Because we really, really need that. I really, really need that. You know, my wife asked me, hey, why can't we go on vacation? We have all these rentals. I said, we can't go on vacation because we have all these rentals. That was true. I was doing the best I could. I don't think anybody could have done any better. I had to use my engineering salary to help offset my rentals. Okay? All right, so a mentor said, hey, this plan, what you want, write down what you want. I said, okay, I want cash flow. Yep. Passive cash flow, I love it. And I want something scalable, yep, because I want to do the algebra. I want to figure it out and scale it up. And then I want to work less than 2 hours a week because I need to be home with my family, otherwise there's going to be problems. That's not good for a handsome guy to be away from his wife all those hours. It's not good. And then I didn't want any employees, I messed up that up. You guys remember the Me Too movement? I'd be a nightmare on that one. I'd be a nightmare. And I wanted to sell the business, and you can't sell your Airbnb business. All that work, and you can't sell it. I mean, we don't want to go that direction. So I started off with next was cash flow goals. Let's do that, because you got to set goals. You got to have something in your mind. I want you guys to think about what do you want cash flow wise in the next 6 months. Okay? How much you want net income? That's all we're talking about. You guys want to say it out loud? You guys really do it? But I'm in the Bible Belt, right? You guys can say things out loud that make it happen, right? All right. All right, let's say it at the count of 3. I want you guys to all say what's your monthly net income you want in the bank in the next 6 months. Every month. Let's say it out loud. 1, 2, 3. Say it. Oh, come on, folks back in the back. I failed that exercise when I first heard it. A guy told me to stand up on the chair and yell freedom, and I couldn't even do that because I knew I was lying to myself. I would not put out my cash flow number because I knew, you got to do hard stuff to get there. I knew I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a plan today, how you can do that. Not 50,000. I'm not gonna be able to help you get there, but we're gonna get close to it. Okay. So you guys get this book. This is my book. Took me 5 years to come up. A lot of research, just collecting ideas. I come to events like this and tell me, and that problem I have with landlording, like give me some ideas of how I can get more net income. So I compiled it for you. You guys all get that. Kim made it available to you. And out of that, my conclusion was that the best thing to do is to change how you operate your rental. That's the easiest, fastest, least amount of money that you can do is change how you operate it. Right, Joe? You went from a regular traditional landlording to monthly, eventually got to monthly. That's the easiest thing you can do. Okay? So that was the conclusion. So I started Airbnb back in 2014. Soon they came up with this new thing called Business Travel Ready. I set aside one of my 2-bed, 1-baths, and I was making money. Yeah, it was working out. It was burning out though. It was not passive. I had to sneak home. I remember I did this long commute, and I had to sneak home to go check on things, and then I come back to my family, and my wife was mad. Where are you? And then I said, well, maybe I should go home first and then go check out my rental. Where are you going? So it was constant stress. It was a lot of stress in my life. And then, scalable was more than 2 hours per week with these shorter shorts. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. I can't do employees. I messed that up, and you can't sell it. So I had to start tweaking on it, because I wanted more time than the money. How about you guys? Yeah. There's always someone who says, I want more money. But you need time to spend your money, yes?
Yes.
So it all comes to time. And what's the most efficient thing to do with your time? And that's why I was experimenting with, and I figured it out with these midterm rentals back in 2015. I've been writing about it and talking to people. And what it helped me do a lot of things. It's really important things. Like, the No Father's Day daughter. I was there. I used to drive her to school and pick her up. And I had a lot of time with her. And one day, and she was in high school, she was just skipping and got in the car. Dad, Dad, Dad. I'm like, what? She said, I got my first kiss today. And I was driving a Prius. And I almost wrecked it. But I was, there's a lot to unpack. Later on, I was unpacking it. I said, she told me first. I was there. I wasn't in a cubicle. I was there before her mom, and she felt comfortable enough to tell me, her dad. No, I wasn't there for the kiss. I was the first one she told. So that relationship, it changed. And now she's in college. And I said, what happened to Jacob? And she said, I dumped him. I said, well, why? She said, he wasn't enough like you. That is the benefit of midterm rentals for me. Having that time with the family, something that works, that frees up my life, is it. That's really it. Now, if you want to boats or handbags, right? Your handbag, or you want to dress nice, it'll help you get there too. There's a lot of things it can do for you. That's why I'm excited to be here. And I want to, if you guys will let me, just kind of be myself. This is not Toastmasters. Just let me be myself, because I want to coach you through some of this for the time, okay? You guys let me coach you through it?
Yes.
All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So, COVID happened, a lot of things changed. During COVID, there was like no hope. But Airbnb went public shortly after 2020, and Brian Chesky has come out and say what's working and what doesn't, because it's a publicly traded company. And he would say, 30 days and longer stays is working. If you want to stay alive, do longer stays. And I've been saying that for quite a while. Because who's using them is these folks here, these nurses, these telecom scientists and doctors, construction and corporate relocation. You guys want to house those folks?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. They need long-term housing, and they stay in these extended stay hotels. We're going to talk about extended stay America on Saturday when I come back, but they got Blackstone bought them, and then there was some of these quotes was this, that even when travel comes to a stop, government work keeps going. Even if Martians landed, military still needs housing, yes? I don't care what recession it is, if you need a plumber, you need a plumber. These guys keep working regardless of what the economy is going. So that's why they need longer term housing for them. So that's what we got here. We got, you guys want more cash flow, yes? Is that why you're here?
Yes.
Okay, so we got that bubble. And then we got remote workers who are, the longer they're away from home, the more they need a place that feels like home. That makes sense to you? They need a place that gives them a sense of a feeling of belonging. That's a big problem, because we're hearing more and more about the loneliness epidemic now. But it's been in the remote workers, the essential worker field for a long time, being away from home. So let's talk about this intersection here. Because how do I know this? It's because I was an essential worker. Since '95, this is before I even got married, I was in Port Arthur, Texas, and doing some things for Chevron. They had a spill, and I was out there in this all-day Inn Express, and the first week was cool, but the second week I was getting irritated. People were coming in, violating my space, and I didn't know where to go eat. I had to keep spending my housing allowance, and I just wasn't. Port Arthur, Texas is not Sacramento, California. There's a lot of dynamics that I didn't understand. So I needed my own space, and I needed to have my own space. So someone called here's marketing, someone called my HR department and said, hey, we have an apartment up the street, and here's a menu of things that he wants. We're about 20% cheaper than a extended stay hotel, right? And they got the information to me, and I'm like, I'm all over this. I get to save money. I get to have my own space, right? I get to save my food allowance. I can feel good. So I was definitely there. That's back in 95. I got married in 96. Okay, it's corporate housing. Yeah, have you guys seen these type of hotels? Hotels with a kitchenette?
Yes.
No? Yeah, I looked it up. They're every single one of them. These are the top 10 chains in the United States. Every single one of them is in this area. Okay. The built one is about $12 to $22 million. Okay. Do you think they do research before they build it? Yeah. Yeah. Are they nonprofit or for-profit? Do you think you could do better research than them? Yes? No? No, you just can't. And if they're present, that's what I'm sharing with you. If you're humble enough to accept this, engineer friends, because we're always checking each other. If you're humble enough to accept it, if they're present, that means it works. Okay? You can't do better research than that. All you have to do is drive the parking lot. Will you ever see that? Drive the parking lot at night to see if they're filled, right? Yes?
Yes.
See what kind of cars there are. See what logos are in there. What corporate logos are there. Yeah? That's all the proof. That's all you need to do. You can't do any better research than them. They've already took the bet. And then you're going to see that's about 80% filled. You guys give me a head nod or something. I'm dropping bombs here. 80% filled or longer, or you're going to be cursing because you can't find a parking spot. And then you're going to know how much they charge per night. Yes? Okay. So you're going to know what they are, who's there. You're going to know what they're paying. They're going to be paying more than advertised on Google. And then you can run your numbers to say, hey, can I compete with that? What kind of profit can I get with that? Yeah? So whether you own the property or not, you can be able to move something into the hospitality market and create some margin. I'm going to have to catch you later. But don't write that question down. Okay? Because Henry Ford said this. He said a market is never saturated. So this was in 1920. They were talking about market saturation. He said a market is never saturated with a good product. There's always an opening. Just like the person presented to me, hey, you see his own space is 20% cheaper. I'm there. Okay? Now, I can ask, who's a married lady? Raise your hand. Okay, but for the sake of time, just give me oh yeah, if it's true. If I gave you an option between a luxurious place that did not have a washer and dryer in it, but you had to stay there for 3 months, and a nice place that had a washer and dryer in it, which one would you pick?
Nice place, washer dryer.
Yeah, all the time. You guys get it? You throw a regular, just a nice place, make sure you have a washer and dryer in it. No hotel can compete against that. Okay? You can take their lunch. All right? That's what the good news is. They probably want to squash me here. Oh, one other thing is if you see something that says like, by Marriott, that's why you see it. You see Residence Inn, by Marriott. You see Doubletree, what does it say? Doubletree, by Hilton? That means they don't, when it says buy, that means they don't own it. It means they simply rent this mother. Okay? Why can't you guys do that? Why can't you guys go rent a place in the rental market and transition it to the hospitality market? All right. I want to make sure, hey, there's no money, you can't get your money back. I want you to know, I'm trying to deliver, you can't get your money back. Okay, so the secret is to get a place so people can, what? Feel at home. That's the word. Doesn't mean it has to have designer stuff. Doesn't mean, Joe, you don't have to have Sony, this and that, KitchenAid, everything. You don't have to have that. You just have to get a place that people can feel at home. Make their pancakes at home. Okay? and then do it so that they don't have to spend all their money. If you can do that, it's a win for them. You get to create, you're creating a margin for yourself, yes? They're going to come to you all day long. I need some water now. You guys are making me work. Are you guys catching what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
There's no BS here. This is how it works. Everyone's doing this except for us landlords and regular investors. Okay? All right. So here's 3 keys to help you do that. How to choose a market. I'm going to help you with that. How do you know? And then key number 2 is how do you do this without any money out of your pocket? Because if you can do this without any money out of your pocket, what does that mean? What's to stop you from accomplishing your financial goals?
Yourself.
There you go. That's it. You do need courage, but you don't need cash. Okay? You do need to know that you have a birthmark here and your teeth don't line up and you stutter and you're short and you're kind of pudgy and still do it. Okay? But to do that, I had to get coaching to do it. I had to get coached to do this. Okay? All right. Key number 1. Let's talk about how do you know a market's going to work? Because we want to do the research, right? We don't want to be foolish. We don't want to lose face when you try it and it doesn't work, right? We don't want to do that. So let me tell you about Rochelle. She reached out to me. She said, Al, you've been coaching my friends. They've been working. And she says, I have a best friend who has breast cancer and asked me to help pay for the gymnastic lessons and the ballet lessons for her children, which is Rochelle's godchildren. She says, I can't not do this. And Rochelle flips homes. So her cash flow is, right? Her cash flow is like this, flipping homes. But she loved it. She loves the design and everything. And she was single. She was carefree until this happened. Now she feels like she needs to deliver. So she said, Al, can you help me do this? I want to serve business travelers. I don't want it the day-to-day. I want my time. So I said, well, let me check your market, which is Reno, Nevada. And I'd say, well, let me see what's going on. Let's see these extended stays. And I see 5 of the top 10 extended stays are already in Reno, Nevada. What do you guys think? Can her market support extended stays or midterm rentals?
Yes.
Is there, who's not confident? Yeah, you can have a lot of confidence if 5 out of the 10, if Extended Stay America set up house and then Hilton says, let me do my research. Yeah, it works, and we're going to set up 2. And then Hilton says, hey, let's set up another product for the younger generation, home 2 suites, home, so make it their home too. Let's spin bicycles in there and things like that. Because it worked. And then Staybridge says, hey, these guys did their research. Let me go do my research. And yeah, let's go spend the money for this market because it still worked. And same thing with Wood Springs. They all did that before they put that 12 million to 20 million. Do we need to do any more research?
No.
We can just simply drive the parking lot and get up and going. Right? We'll get going. So I said, Rochelle, yes. Absolutely, it works. Okay? Now the thing is, the friction is, when we were in school, we're taught not to copy. Do original work, yes?
Yes.
Not to use ChatGPT, to do your own work. But when it comes to cash flow, you copy people. That you don't do original work when it comes to cash flow. Right? Right? That's why Burger King sets up across the street from McDonald's. Right?
Yeah.
Because they know it works. You got the proof right there. There's nothing stopping you from the money and your financial goals. All right. So I said, Rochelle, yes, it works. Let's get going. She says, I don't always follow through. Some things happen. And, I ran out of money or something like that. So I said, let's do it on YouTube. Let's put everything, all of this, to hold you accountable. So she said, okay, yeah. So we put what she did on YouTube and what I did, and we documented the whole thing. And so I was very responsive. She sent me an email, I would get right back to her because I was accountable. And she named it a GPS email, just like your GPS tells you turn here, turn there, redirect, right? So that's what we try to create, that feeling, a GPS email. So she got her first place. She used the script. There's an out-of-state landlord in Reno. He said, yeah. She said, hey, I'm essentially, you guys can use this, I'm essentially going to be a manager who pays you to manage your property. I'm going to make sure it looks great all the time. It's always in open house condition.
Yeah.
You know, 3 to 4 times a year. Landlords, how does that sound to you?
Yeah.
I'm going to be checking to make sure there's no leaks under the sink. I'm going to be checking to make sure that the gutters stay clear. Yeah? Because I need the place to look good. And the landlords need it. So the landlord sees it as you are a super tenant. You're more on the landlord side than a regular tenant, yes?
Yes.
If you explain it to a landlord that way, you have all the properties you want. And if you can do it without any money out of your pocket, and if you can just drive the parking lot to see if it's going to work here, right? Yes? It's good news. Okay, so she went and started decorating. Now you cannot decorate like this after COVID. Because things changed, okay? But she's watching her budget because we have to watch our startup cost. Right? For me and the people I coach, I say you're not profitable. It's always bad news. You're not profitable until you pay off your startup cost. So watch your budget. This is not HGTV. They do not talk about how long it takes you to pay off your startup costs. Okay? So you pay attention to the startup costs. That's everything. That's everything. We'll get back to that. So just regular things. She used a bed from her guest room just to get started. And this is what happened. She used another script to talk to people, not hide behind your computer. She went out and talked to people, and she talked to a guy, and she got introduced to a guy who was in charge of a roadway project for 10 months, a transportation project. And she told them, hey, we got a place, we can set it up. And she asked me, it was back and forth, Al, how much should I charge? How much should I charge? I said, the guys get a housing allowance, right, per diem. It's called basically housing allowance if you're working on a government project. It's set by the Government Service Administration. You can see how much it is for Kansas City. It's essentially going to be more than $100 a day. So the guys typically making, this is even back to this, is making, anyone have a per diem? You know what it is for here?
106.
106? Okay. So I said the guy's at least making $3,000 tax-free of housing allowance. Okay. I said you should charge him at least $2,200. And she's like, no, I don't want to gouge him. I don't want to be greedy. My rent is only $850. I don't want to be greedy. I'm like, Rochelle, you know, there's meat on the bone for this guy. Just do that. No. It was back and forth. I said, you got to be coachable if we're going to do this. She said, oh, well. So she said, oh, I'll ask him. I don't want to. I'll ask him. So she said, okay, how about $2,100? Ask him that. And he said, okay, let's go. Because to him it says $900 savings.
Yeah.
Bigger place, $900 savings, washer and dryer.
Right.
So let's do this already. And so the profit, like owner, right? Wi-Fi, utilities, $350. We're only talking net income here today, guys. We're not talking pie in the sky. It's not a cocktail party, right? So it's net income. Now, who's making more money? The landlord or Rochelle?
Rochelle.
Yeah. When the water heater has a little drip, it needs to be replaced, who pays for that? The owner. Who takes care of it? Who's responsible for the maintenance and the risk? An owner, yeah. Now she's like the MAREI. Now she's like the MAREI. let's talk, who are my landlords again? I don't mean to be mean, but we gotta talk about this. If the landlord was doing what Rochelle was doing, the easiest thing to do is just pivot to month-to-month furnished rentals. Okay? If the landlord pivoted to the month-to-month furnished rentals and tell people what they offer, okay, get out there, then the landlord could be making the money Rochelle was. Okay, so the landlord's making $850, he's gotta pay a mortgage, let's just free and clear, but let's assume it's that $450. They gotta pay taxes and insurance, and they're supposed to put money away for reserves, but landlords don't like to talk about that, reserve. But right? So I'm being so conservative to say the landlord's making $150 in net income per month off that property. So I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. Now, if they were doing what Rochelle was doing, they would be collecting that $900 a month, yes? That means they would be making over $1,000, $1,500, $1,050. They'd be making 7 times. They'd be making 7 times more. 7 houses. Cash flow is 7. There's no taxes, no realtor fees. Okay? You're not going to get gouged, anything. Just by changing how you operate. All right? 7 times. Did I get that right, my engineer friend? That's a huge return for a little bit of furniture, yes? Who has more risk? Someone who's doing midterm rentals or someone who's just a regular landlord? Landlord is the riskiest position to be in. Traditional landlord is the riskiest thing you can possibly do because if something happens, you go vacant. If you have furniture in it, you can do long-term furnished rentals and have them pay utilities, right? You could do traditional landlording if you wanted to. You have all these safety nets, but you don't have any safety net as a traditional landlord. Okay? Am I making this up? I'm trying to give you some good news. You have some options so that you don't have to have no Father's Day cards like me. You don't have to have the golden handcuffs on like me. So we celebrated. But Rochelle, there's a backstory to this. For a second time, say we were at a conference like this, and I gave the story for the first time. Everyone was in tears, and she was there sobbing, and the video crew was there, and my mentor was somewhere over there. He said, Al, you got to do a video with her. So I asked her, hey, can we do a video together just to kind of final document this? She said, yeah, okay. And as we were walking, she said, maybe I don't want to do this with you. I'm like, why? Why? She said, you didn't make it clear that I could have done all of this without any money in my pocket. She said, you were talking mumble jumble, and it wasn't clear that I could have done this without any money in my pocket. So I said, okay, if I ever share your story, I'm going to make it crystal clear. So I'm going to do that for you guys. I'm going to do this, make it as clear as I can, all right, how it works. So was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, you may have heard it before, but I want to just make sure I'm as clear as I can be. All right, I'm going to move along a little quicker. Here's what I wanted to talk about. How do you do this without any money in your pocket? Let's talk about that. I'm going to skip through why extended stays, but essentially, for the sake of time, doing shorter stays here. I was doing shorter stays and it came with this net income. I did 3 turnovers per month. And I did one stay that was 1 month, and I was compared my net incomes. Because if I go somewhere, I have to pay myself for my time, yes? So I was back and forth, and then all the stress, all the marriage counseling. Marriage counseling costs money. And when you put this added to it, I was losing him. So I said, hey, this is about the same thing. My net income is about the same thing if I do longer stays. In fact, if I do a 3-month stay, I can spread that cost out over a longer period of time, right? And if I spread out over a longer period of time, what's that do to my costs? It puts them down, right? If my costs go down, what happens to my net income? Yeah, it goes up. So these longer term stays is the most profitable thing and then stop doing traditional landlording. Well, there's a time and place for that. It's there's less risk. You guys see where we're going? Drive the parking lot, see what's going on, and then on Saturday when I come back, I'm going to show you how we have to talk about some other things. We have to talk about absorption and some things, okay? Head nods. So you need to come back so we can do a one-day workshop. Are you learning anything now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you can give me a day, I'm going to put a decade of learning in that day. Save you a lot of time. Okay? So the biggest difference, there's a lot of differences, but the biggest difference is the occupant. For shorter stays, doing regular Airbnb, typically people are paying out of pocket themselves. Okay? When they're doing longer, typically the employer is paying. And when the employer pays, like someone else taking you to dinner, you're not as picky, are you? No? It's more laid back, yes? It's easier to handle these people, keep them satisfied. Because now, if you're saving somebody money, right, and you're giving them a washer and dryer, they want to work with you. They're on your side, and you're on the landlord's side if you're on the place, yes? So we're all in alignment now. Everyone's got self-interest, yes? The self-interest is aligned up. I'm going off track, but traditional landlording is adversarial, yes? Win-lose. This is, hey, let me help you win, let me help you win, let me help you win. Everyone wins except for the extended stay hotels. They're the ones who's out. Okay, so not too fast, not too slow, just right, doing longer, months long, longer. Less marriage counseling. Okay, so how do you do all this without any money in your pocket? You do this. First, you've got to open yourself up to how many ways there is to control a property. I'm going to whiz through this. There's the mortgage, yes, you control a property. Who owns it? If you have a mortgage on a property, who owns it? The bank. The bank. Okay, for now, for the sake of time, say not me, okay? So if you have a rental, who owns it? And you have a mortgage on it? Not me. And if you have a master lease on a property, you guys understand what a master lease, you lease a property, who owns it? Not me. Right. And then if you have to do a lease option on a property, you guys probably talk about that lease option, who owns it? And then if you are doing a subject to an existing financing, subject to, who owns it? But you can control it, yes? And you can make a profit off it, yes? Yeah? And then if you do a joint venture with a landlord, who owns it? Not me, right, you're not doing it. And if you decide to act as a manager or a co-host for a rental, who owns it? And then if you do the physical work, who's handy? Who's handy? Okay, Mr. Green Jeans, right? You guys all know who Mr. Green Jeans is? Yeah. If you do Mr. Green Jeans like Higgins on Magnum PI, you're on site and you take care of things for a landlord. They let you control the property. Okay, so a manager is kind of hands off and has other people do it. A caretaker is hands on. You guys receive that? It takes care of it. You guys get what I'm saying? So a caretaker can rent it out to a furnished rental. So who owns it for a caretaker? Not me. So see this, everything's the same. The amount of profit and there's benefits, depreciation and stuff that comes with some, but in all cases, you don't own it. Just like the Hilton doesn't own this place. All right, so first let's get the mind shift. That took me 2 years to get through because I felt like I had to own everything. I had to own everything, own assets. I need to own them. I want to own all my assets. All right? That took me 2 years to get over that. All right, so once you control a place, then you work your budget to come up with how much you need to invest. Like how much, so I need to do this number. How much do I need to put furniture in there? All right, because you need that number so that you know how much you can go borrow. And then you also need to know how long does it take you to break even. To what? Break even, and that means pay back your investor, yes? So Joe, you're an investor. If I could pay you back in 8 months, if I can borrow money and run a business and pay you back in 8 months, why should I use my own money? It makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. If you can, we'll break that down on Saturday. But you should have your money in the bank. If you have any money, I'll keep it in the bank and go use someone else's money. Create an investment. Create an investment. With the power, you on behalf of Kim.
Right.
Give me the authority. He said, I got the authority now? Yes. On the power granted to me, I make all of you investment bankers. How much money do investment bankers put into their deals? None. All right? So I made you all investment bankers. All right? All right, so you figure that out. I help you with that. I have all kinds of things to help you come up with that number. And then you buy the furniture. How much money out of your pocket have you spent? Of your own money. If you go borrow the money and then go get the furniture. No down payment. Then you go market it. We can talk about that on Saturday coming up. That's the key point. And then you're going to find someone like that, like Rochelle did, that's going to give you money. Happily give you money, right? And then you take their money, not even their money, their employer's money. You guys all tracking? Yeah. Their employer's money, and then pay the bills, pay your investors, the Wi-Fi and everything. How much money have you spent out of your own pocket so far?
Zero.
And how much has your ideal employee, the essential worker, they haven't put any of their own money out of their pocket either. They're only their employer's money. And then, so you pay all the bills, everybody's happy. Your investor's happy, your landlord's happy, everybody's happy, and then the rest of the money is yours. Yours to go buy a boat, go buy the handbag you want, take the trips, do some nice dressing, some fly tennis shoes, whatever you want. Okay? I always recommend people take it and they do something with that money, like there's some income amplifiers and there's different things you should do. That's just me with the money. Okay? And then you do it again. And create some more money until you accomplish a financial goal. Just like an investment banker, yes? Is that good news to you guys?
Yeah.
All right. All right. You definitely should do one of them. If you own the property, you should definitely do this. If you don't own property, you should definitely do this. All right. I have all the details about it. All that, we're going to talk about that a little later. It's all in my resource library. We keep adding to this. Remember, I've been doing this 10 years at this. Okay. It's just now kind of becoming a popular thing. This is my skeptic. He was in Appleton. He's like, Al, if I can make 4 figures in 3 months, I'm going to give you a testimonial. And there it is. He found an indifference in the markets between rental market and hospitality market in Appleton. He found a big enough imbalance, created a product, and he can create a $1,000 difference. Now, what is my landlords, how much is it for a regular, give me an honest answer, landlords. For a regular rental, how much net income per door per month? Here in Kansas City. Is it 200? Is it 300? What is it? How much?
Depends on how long.
If you have a mortgage on it.
Yeah, if you got the mortgage over 4 years ago, 500 is pretty easy.
If you have say if you have, so right now it would be nothing, but if you
I have a
have,
lot of stuff in Jackson County with the property tax increases. My 500 per door average is
500?
It's probably below 300 now.
Okay, so let's say 400.
Yeah.
So this is equivalent to 2.5 rentals with no money out of your pocket. Okay? So down payments here is what, 20,000? Sorry? 20,000?
20%.
20%, which is what?
Probably like a $150,000 house. So
20,000?
35.
35. So this is 35 plus $70,000 worth of down payment to create the same income as what I'm sharing with you. You guys get it? You guys coming to the focus? Now, I do want you to buy real estate. Please. Buy real estate, just like the MAREI. Buy some and operate some. You guys get that?
Yeah.
That took me a long time to figure out. Okay, I'm speeding along. How am I doing on time?
23.
Okay. Okay. No, this should be 80. See, this is a recent change. I should be 85%. It used to be 95%. Before COVID, I've been teaching this for a while. I didn't want this to happen because I wanted to talk about this. Before, I had the market all to myself. My students had the market all to themselves. But I come out and share, but it became more popular. There's more people talking about it now. And travel nursing has, they start hiring more permanent staff. So things are changing now. You have to be more selective and more savvy now. I used to be able to promise you that you're not going to have any vacancies just like me. But I have to be transparent up here, right? So I say you got to account for, it should be like 85%. Okay? Thanks for catching it. It should be about 85%. I feel comfortable leading you. I'm not leading you astray. Okay? And that's what some marketing tactics. We were showing marketing like this, but it really looks like this. And no one wanted to. I would tell people, hey, it's three-legged stool. You need an online presence, offline presence, and social media. And folks said, no, we just need Airbnb. And they would argue until COVID happened. And then they were like selling their stuff on the curb. They can't do anything. So you need online presence, yes, for marketing. You need your Airbnbs, your FurnishedFinders, and all these things. And there's some tactics like the Richie, and make sure you're on Google. Try to be the first page on Google, right? Here, let's do, I need someone who has Google, not DuckDuckGo. Someone has Google on their phone right now. Who's got it? Raise your phone up. Okay, I need you to do a Google search, corporate housing, Sacramento. Let's let them do that.
Corporate housing, Sacramento.
That come up. And then you skip, do you guys, when you're doing Google, do you press on the ads, or do you skip the ads? Skip that. Okay, so skip the ads, and then you're going to see what the first organic, what do you see? It's going to be in the map view, probably.
Easy corporate housing.
Easy corporate, what's the name of my company?
Easy corporate housing.
Easy corporate housing. First page Google, top, right? Skip, go down a little bit low, what do you see again?
Corporate housing.
Two after that is easy corporate housing.
2 times on the first page of Google. Is that enough credibility for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on then.
Those were reviews too.
Okay.
Positive.
Let's keep going, then I don't have to beat this down. Guess where my reviews come? Guess where my leads come from? Yeah, people who don't want to pay the fees, Google, like we all do. They find me, and then we have the conversation. Okay. All right, then offline, you have to have an offline presence. We could talk more about that on Saturday, it's crucial. But on offline presence, you have to have that thing, that one-page website. You don't send people to your Airbnb listing. You have to have a one-page website. And then social media, you need all these things, but you don't, on social media, you don't send people to your FurnishedFinders. You don't send them to your VRBO or your, get it? You send them to your one-page website. That's the magic sauce. All right, so who needs this? Let's go quick. Military, yes. Well, I was flying in, I saw a bunch of guys with military outfits. Is there a military base around here?
Yes.
They all need it, regardless of what's going on, regardless of who wins the presidential election. They all need it. Okay? And then corporate housing, of course. And then this is a political year. People running campaigns, they bring in their staffing to run their campaigns. They need it. And then NASCAR, people training for NASCAR. These are people I've served so far. They need the apprenticeship. They need it. And, fitness trainers, we're needing a lot of it, especially after COVID. They're hiring fitness trainers. Need it. International travel is back. They need it. construction crews. California, I know you guys don't care about California, but we had a lot of fires. And because of power lines, we hired tons of linemen. And they brought their families and their dogs. They all needed it. And then medical, of course, there's 3 types of medical. There's travel healthcare professionals, we all know about that. There are students
Yes.
who are doing their rotations, they need it for a month. And there are families supporting their loved ones need it. They want to be close to their loved ones. 3 types. And then, now that category are people who are pretty much, I'm trying to talk about people traveling to make money, except for some of the medical. I haven't got into the category of people traveling because they have to. These insurance got displaced. Okay? Even in here, I had an insurance agent call me an adjuster. He needed to come to Sacramento to do some adjusting and kind of work out of the office. They need it. But, so people have to travel, do it. And then people who want to travel, there's a lot of baby boomers that want to travel and do consulting and do the work. So that's a whole other conversation. I need more time with you guys, okay? And back Saturday. So all this is in step 4 of, I'm going to talk to you about our resources. Real quick, not much. I'm going to talk about some resources for you. Now, if you are focused on medical and that dries up, say they start hiring permanent people, what do? How do you keep your unit filled? I call it this is my strategy. If they start hiring permanent nurses, what do? You start getting vacancies, what do? Yes, you pivot. You blitz into another category. Okay? And you blitz into this political season, you can blitz into that. And then when that dries up, you blitz into another category. Stay filled. The goal is, well, how would you feel if you knew how to market to those categories before you needed to? Yeah, take away the risk, right? You guys follow me? If you know how to market to these categories before you have to, that means that if you choose to borrow the money, your chances of paying them back is strong. And if you borrow the money, you don't have to come out of pocket, which means you can accomplish your financial goals faster. You guys get into all this? If you use your property, yes. If you own some and operate some, you're off and going. You can dodge the maintenance and make more net income. All right. I have something called marketing school. It has all those things. Collection. There's even, like, we have, I don't want to get too far off topic. There's a nuclear power plant in this Kansas City, right? Something. They don't, yeah, not too far away, but they do shutdowns for maintenance, and then they need a lot of extended stay housing. Okay, they don't have it this year. I was going to tell you guys about it, but different nuclear plants, all those things. We track those tactics and put them in marketing school, so that you know what to do when you're vacant, or maybe it's just me. When I'm vacant, I cannot think about creativity. Okay, I need this resource, the collection that I put together. Now, this is a great saying, give someone a fish, right? There's no shame. I'm not apologizing. I want to teach you guys how to market. I do. That's why I'm here. So I want you to have the same opportunities that I enjoy. I want you to enjoy your family just like I do. If I'm I'm a homeschool teacher for my 7-year-old. Homeschool teacher. I got to check her screenshots right now, but yeah, you get to change the same amount of time. It changes your life when you have these opportunities. I want you to have that. You need to know how to market if you're going to do this. So, real quick quiz. How do you instantly know that this is going to work? How do you know?
Extended stays.
Presence of extended stay hotel. Drive the parking lot. Okay? Don't take my word for it. Drive the parking lot. And then, how can you do this without using any money of your own pocket? Is it possible to make money without any money
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't grow up being taught that. Investment bankers do it every single day, or every single weekday. Investment bankers do it every single weekday, between 9 and 4, whatever they do. Okay? And then I made all you investment bankers, you can do it too. All you have to do is believe you can, and speak the words into that,
Right.
and then you're there. All right? Even if you have your teeth don't line up, if you have a funny thing, if you're a little touchy, it still works.
Yep.
Okay? All right. And then how can you maintain 85% occupancy year-round is a bliss and pivot. You got to know how to market before you need to know how to market. And you got to stay ahead of what's going on so that you're not the last person. You don't go down with the ship. Things are changing. And unfortunately, the cheese is always moving. I hate that, but it's the truth. You need to change quickly to see what's going on with your market. All right, so typically what happens is people start with me and they make the first at least 500, then they get bored and like, oh, there's nothing for me to do. Can I do another one? So by the end of 9 months, typically, they're up to where they can do $2,000 if they go that far. Okay? A lot of people get $1,500 a month and they're like, we're good. Okay? Some go even further. And can you see how they can go that fast? You can't even get a loan in 30 days, right? But you can pick up one of these every 3 months easily. Then you can do a lot more. This is how Easy Corporate Housing did it. Because we didn't know, I didn't know at the time, Ember put $5,000 in the bank, I put $5,000 in the bank. Ember's tall and good looking, 35 years old. Where I am, I'm 58 years old. And we were the team, and we said, okay, let's put money in the bank, and then we'll do a rental arbitrage, and then we'll take that $500 at least, and we'll put it back in the bank. And then in a few months, we'll take the money out of the bank, and then we'll go set up another one, and put all those profits back in. You keep being your lawyer, I'll keep doing my landlord science. And no one takes any money out. And so we said, hey, in 23 months, we can start making a net, I'm not talking revenue, total revenue, net income at $10,000 a month. Right? Now is there anyone here who can retire on $10,000 of net income per month? Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that you don't have to work 30 years to retire. You don't have to work 30 years to retire. We'll talk more about that on Saturday. There's a lot to it. Is that good news?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much if you chose to, how much does it cost you out of pocket to do this, set up this?
Zero.
There you go. It takes courage. Yep, no, you don't have to put money. But you do, I'm just showing you, I used to stop, not show this because this is just the gas pedal. You do need to have a brake, okay? You do need to have some savings going on, okay? So I used to stop, but I always talk about this is the gas pedal. This is me giving one of my 16-year-old girl a Ferrari. You know, I don't want to show you, I just want to show you what's possible. I'm not saying you should do it. You guys receive that? You need to have savings to go along with this in case something happens. Remember, real quick, Derek, I showed you earlier, the science teacher. We're doing splits between him and my daughter's retirement account. We are the reserves. We just build up the reserves. He takes 500. My daughter takes 500. Goes into her account, and the reserves are 8,000 right now. So always building reserves. So now I say, hey, if you need something for your family, take the money out of that account and pay it back with interest. Now between him and me, you guys get this? We have our own private bank. So there's a lot more that goes with this. You guys get it? When you think you're an investment banker, because you chose to be an investment banker, and then you build up reserves without any of your own money, and then you use that pot of money to do different things, and then you pay yourself back with interest, Now you're changing how money flows in your life altogether, yes? All right. There's so much to unpack there. We have to do that Saturday, you guys get it? We need to do this Saturday so that we can go through slow. All right, I love the saying, eagles teach other eagles to fly. You gotta know what's possible. You gotta be around the conversations to know what's possible. Now some roadblocks. The roadblocks are negative ordinances. You guys have those. Getting bookings independent of Airbnb, so you don't want to be reliant. You don't want to be shut down by Airbnb. And then self-limiting leases, the biggest thing. I'm the king of excuses. I got really good excuses. Gathering funds and not having YouTube's great. I travel a whole lot less because of YouTube. People just go to YouTube to find answers. Okay? I go to YouTube to find answers, right?
Right.
Did you know you could find how to climb Mount Everest on YouTube? The knots. There's this zone where there's no oxygen. What? On YouTube you can learn how to handle that, the equipment and everything. Yes?
Yeah.
But how many of you guys would actually climb Mount Everest based on what you learn on YouTube? Anyone?
No.
You want someone who's actually gone up and come back down. Right? So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you go. I've gone up and back down for 10 years.
Wow.
I'm here to help you with that. I want to help you with that. Okay, Saturday is what we're going to be talking more about it, decade into day. Right? I just want to get that information to you. And I want, real quick, what time do we have?
8:39.
Oh, good, good. So there's some reasons to attend, but it's going to be fun. And
Is it 24th?
24th.
Is it 23rd?
I thought it said 23rd. It's Saturday.
24th is Saturday.
Okay, so Saturday, 24th. All right. What day? The what? Saturday the what?
Saturday, 24th.
Okay, good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Okay, some of you can't attend. Can you give me like 5 minutes? Because people get mad at me. They're like, I didn't know you would give that resource away, which is this. It's access to the course. And then there's details about my coaching and training program. Will you guys give me 6 minutes to kind of share with you? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go fast. It's called Extended Stays for Landlords. And what you get is, you get an overview of how to analyze your market. I kind of did that today. You look at extended stay hotels. And about furnishing, you don't overspend. Okay? Just because you don't spend a lot of money doesn't mean you can't get nice stuff, yes?
Yes.
And for people like Joe and me, we go find a single mom. Aren't you, Joe? Dawn. Dawn and me, we go find a single mom and give her a budget and she could get it done. Yes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it's doable. And you need to keep your budget down because you need to break even quickly so that you don't have to use your own money. You guys receive that? Yes, yes, yes? Okay, we got to talk about break even because this is a real business. And then how to market, that's so important. And then I'll give you a checklist for that. And how to transition, all about travel nursing, which is becoming a smaller part of the market now. It used to be the rage. Because there's a lot of people going after it, you need to know how to do other stuff. All right? And then once you have all that, then it's really safe to go use other people's properties. Use your own. You want to operate your own and operate other people's properties. Okay? And then it's like printing money. You can decide how busy you want to be. You don't want to be too busy because you want to have your life and your family. All right? That's important. But you can take off the financial stress in your life. Right? And also, if your boss irritates you too much, you have a backup plan. It's different going to work when you know you got a cushion, yes?
Yes.
All right, so that value of that was $9.97. But the information, you need more than information because you need hand-holding. I need hand-holding for transformation. Okay? So that's why we meet daily on our private Facebook group and lots of support. That's where I go to get my support. And I do updates. I'm always trying to crash and fail in private so people know what the boundaries are, okay? So if you get in, you're gonna see, well, Al's not very impressive. He's always failing. Because I'm trying to fail so that we know where it is. And then resource library, I'm very, very proud of the resource library. I'm always adding to my course, like how to do all about private lending for this. We're talking a lot about that on Saturday, that's important. And then all the addendums, the legal work alone, my business partner's a lawyer, real estate lawyer, so he wrote a lot of the legal stuff, so there's templates in there. So the legal work alone is worth more than the whole course. So the whole thing, that value of what I stacked together is over $7,000. I'm not charging you that, of course. And I'm not gonna do a whole big buildup and drop it down 3 or 4 times. I'm just gonna tell you guys what it is. It's definitely worth that. Our financial freedom is way worth more than that. But mentoring for 12 months, Genesis is in person. If 5 people sign up for Genesis, I'll come back to Kansas City and I'll spend a weekend immersion. We'll rent a big Airbnb and we'll go through set up your whole business in 2 days. Okay? If people want to do the in-person part. And then there's, remember that one-page website we talked about? I set up the first one for you. Make sure you get it right, because it's so important. And then we meet every week for 4 weeks. How many weeks? 4. Yeah, about 7 p.m. Kansas City time. And we go through the entire course. So if you don't even crack it open, you'll still have picked up everything. And then marketing school, which is so important. And this is Genesis, me coming to Kansas City to look for things like this during COVID. So it's really that you guys will be Rocky, I'll be Apollo, he just passed. So if you want that type of accountability and you give me permission to kick your butt and get you going, that's what that's for. So a few people do that because they want it done. And a lot of people are happy with the virtual conversations, group coaching. So this is the price until the 24th is $17.97, and then in person is $47.97. Now I am going to, if you get this one, we'll have breakfast tomorrow before I leave. We'll talk about it. But I'm going to stick around. I want to do your question. But we'll talk in the back, and this is the time where you guys applaud. I'm going to head to the back. I'll talk to you guys back there. I don't want to keep you too long because I know it's late.